is Kitty Pryde and Wolverine #1. So as we mentioned, I think a couple issues ago, Kitty Pryde at this point is not part of the X-Men anymore. After her breakup with Colossus, she pretty much stepped away from the team and is on her own. So she travels back to Chicago to be with her dad. Obviously, her parents are divorced at this point, so she finds out that her dad is in some trouble with some people, Japanese businessmen, who work for a guy named Shigematsu. So apparently the dad, Carmen Pryde, has to go back to Japan to help, meet these guys and has some business he has to take care of. So Kitty is told to stay home, and she ends up phasing through a plane, traveling to Japan in a plane with her, with her dad. Not with her dad, but to go, meet up with her dad. And the whole issue is just hilarious. Classic Kitty Pryde characterization, just getting into more and more trouble, it seems like, with each page that's turned in this book. She ends up, phasing through this. She ends up being tracked down by the airport people. Then she goes to this building and she ends up being tracked down by those people. And then she has her face posted all over the place about how she's wanted. And all the while she has a flu and she has no money. She tries to steal money out of a ATM and ends up being caught doing that. So she runs away and leaves the money behind. So, but yeah, the last thing that she's able to see is her dad being confronted by Shigematsu and find out that they're using his bank now to launder their money for their business. So that's kind of where our story ends. You're probably wondering to yourself, when does Wolverine show up? I was really expecting him to show up at the end of this issue. I thought there is one point where she does make a call back to the X-Men headquarters, and surprise, surprise, Wolverine's the one that picks up. And I'm guessing we'll have to wait until next issue for him to show up in Tokyo. But regardless, though, really great issue to kick off this miniseries. I've been really looking forward to reading this for a while. I've heard a lot about it, and I heard it's really good. So, and just a great team up. I'm really excited to see Kitty Pryde and Wolverine team up together. So we'll see how this goes. I would say that the scope of this is pretty low scope. I mean, Carmen Pryde, Kitty Pryde's dad being the main person that they have to worry about rescuing. I think that's pretty cool. So, yeah, really thought this was a good issue. And on to the next issue of this miniseries. Guys, so Kitty Pryde and Wolverine #2, titled Terror. So Kitty is trying to escape after being caught by the Japanese gangsters that are linked with her father's issues. So one of them is Ogun, who Shigematsu gives Kitty Pryde to, in order to, as kind of a trade-off for payment for something. So basically this guy Ogun takes her and basically turns her into his own personal ninja who is out to kill and basically dispose of any villains he has. Meanwhile, we get Wolverine kind of showing up in Japan after he gets that call from the first issue to help, from Kitty. And yeah, a lot of this issue is just Kitty Pryde being trained in the ways of a ninja. And we also get some stuff going on here with Wolverine, which I love. Him showing up at Shigematsu's house and basically being like, where the heck is Kitty Pryde at? And he's basically like, you're going to arrange a meeting to have her hand over, or I'm going to kill you. So that was pretty dope. But yeah, we'll see how the next issue goes. But really enjoy this so far. I love the introduction of Wolverine into the story. Very smart choice, kind of holding them off until the next issue. But yeah, so Kitty Pryde is basically this brainwashed ninja now, which is pretty dope. I think this is the issue where she kind of like turns into a baby and is reborn as the ninja. So some really interesting art here going on. But yeah, anyways, guys, that was Kitty Pryde and Wolverine Volume 1 #2. Alright, guys, so Kitty Pryde and Wolverine #3. So Wolverine is basically, again, in Tokyo trying to look for Kitty Pryde. He is waiting, I guess, by Ogun's area waiting for the trade to go down. And while he's waiting, Yukio, I don't know how you say her name, she jumps on Wolverine, and after a brief fight, she kind of wants to help out with what Wolverine's there to do. So later on, Wolverine is attacked by a ninja who's wearing this demon like red mask. Like it's like a really crazy red mask. So I think all of us who are reading the series knows who that is. But yeah, this ninja throws like a bomb to kind of throw off Wolverine's senses of smell. Shoots an arrow at his leg, where we actually see Wolverine pulling the arrow out of his leg, which is kind of graphic for a comic, I guess. But again, this is the 80s, so comics code is no longer really a big thing at this point. And he actually ends up poisoning him with like claws that are tipped with acid or some type of poison. So Wolverine has to like run away, and he basically like hides in a dumpster and heals. And then meanwhile, while he's healing, Yukio goes to find Carmen Pryde, who obviously is Kitty's father. And while she finds him, she's actually attacked by Shumei, who is the like muscle of Shigematsu. And she's able to throw him out a window and basically like bribe or like torture him until he tells him what happened with Kitty Pryde. And she gets the answers, but she almost gets hurt in the process because Shumei almost throws her off the roof himself. Actually, he does throw him off the roof. He throws Carmen Pryde and Yukio both off the roof, and they're able to save themselves by like hanging on to like a window washer thing and swinging around. So really crazy. So Yukio has Carmen Pryde, Kitty Pryde's father, and then meanwhile we also see Wolverine again on the attack of the ninja. So the ninja shows up again. Wolverine's healed at this point, and they keep battling. They make their way over to a railroad, I guess, and just as Yukio and Carmen Pryde show up to the scene to help out, we see that the ninja is revealed to be, surprise, surprise, Kitty Pryde, and Kitty Pryde actually stabs Wolverine through the gut with her sword. And that's where our issue ends. So crazy stuff for sure. This I think is probably my favorite issue so far. I think this is just a great issue, and just so much character development going on here with Kitty Pryde. I can see why they chose to have these two characters together. There's definitely a rapport between the two of them, and this whole arc with Kitty Pryde is just getting better and better. So really enjoyed this issue, and we'll see how the next issue goes. But really enjoyed Kitty Pryde and Wolverine number 3, guys. So alright guys, so Kitty Pryde and Wolverine number 4. Again, from last issue, Wolverine is pretty severely injured. Kitty's still brainwashed, and Yukio kind of drives them all back, along with Carmen Pryde, back to her stronghold. So when Kitty wakes up, Wolverine's kind of filling her in on all the stuff that she did and what happened to her, and Kitty can't really remember at first. And then basically the way Wolverine explains it is that Ogun put like a version of himself into Kitty Pryde to basically use as he saw fit, I guess. So as he's Wolverine's recovering, he's deciding that he needs to train Kitty to become more mentally capable and trained up, so that way she can face Ogun. That's the only way that she can really put this whole thing behind her and stop Ogun's influence on her mind forever. But as the train's going on, we find out that James McDonald, who is the leader of Alpha Flight, he passes away, and we also find out that Storm lost her powers. So this is kind of taking place with the events of, I think, Uncanny X-Men 185, I believe, is when she loses her powers, because 186 is life death. So that's kind of where this fits in the whole timeline of X-Men, I guess. So both of these characters, Kitty Pryde and Wolverine, they both take that news pretty seriously, and it kind of weighs them down. But they decide to press on, and Kitty's very resistant at first to dealing with the training. I believe this is and part of this issue is them going through like the snow, and Kitty falls down at one point, and Wolverine's like, you just gotta get up and start working again, and Kitty's like, I twisted my ankle, like help me, and then Wolverine's like, you need to do this yourself, so goodbye. And he basically abandons her, and then he comes back to the stronghold, and then like, her Kitty's father is like, where the hell's my daughter at? And lo and behold, she shows up. She perseveres through the snow. That's another thing to note. Apparently, it's snowing here in Japan because of an event that's going on in Thor. So I'm not too sure what that is. I think I saw a footnote for it, but I just can't remember what it is right now. But yeah, so that's kind of more continuity building, I guess, there. So she finally succeeds. She's able to, like, the whole story with this as well, with this issue, is there's a sword that Wolverine has that she has to try to hold up and focus on. And in the beginning of the issue, she can't do that. But towards the end, she's able to kind of hold it and master holding the sword. That's what the issue cover has. So I really like the cover of this issue. I think it's a pretty iconic issue cover, I guess, by Milgram, I believe, is the cover artist for this. But yeah, so she's able to kind of overcome all this training, and she still decides to go back to the States to have Xavier erase all of the memories that Ogun left behind. Wolverine told her that this is kind of a cop-out, that doing that wouldn't really help, and relying on Xavier to fix that would not really be helpful for her own psyche, I guess. So just as she's about to board the plane, she actually turns around and says, no, I need to go back. I need to go face Ogun myself. And that's what she does. She goes back to Tokyo. So next issue should be a really cool showdown, hopefully, between Kitty and Ogun, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, just more plot, more character development with Kitty. Throughout all these issues, I think even in this issue, she mentions a couple of times about Peter, Colossus and stuff like that, and her relationship with Storm too. So all that is still kind of weighing on her as she goes through this experience right now. So yeah, that was Kitty Pryde and Wolverine number 4. So Kitty Pryde and Wolverine number 5. Kitty Pryde again goes back to Tokyo and demands, goes to Shigematsu and basically tells him, like, stay away from my father, don't try to threaten him. So she takes care of that little business there. She then decides to go fight Ogun. So we kind of saw this coming. At this point she's left Wolverine. She left the stronghold to go back to the United States, and then decided to come back to Tokyo to finish this. And while going to this battle, she changes her name to Shadowcat. I believe before then her official code name was Sprite. I could be wrong on that, but yeah. But I guess I forget the explanation she gave, but she basically just I'm not a kitty anymore. I'm a cat. So that's where the cat comes from. And then Shadow, I think she's I do my work best in the shadows or something like that. So, because of her new ninja abilities that she was able to get from Wolverine. So, and I guess partly from Ogun. So, she actually meets up with Mariko, and switches places with her, assuming that Ogun would try to kill her, which she was right about that, I guess. Ogun was trying to go after her, trying to get back what he lost, I guess. The fight scenes in this are pretty dope. There's a lot of back and forth here. I don't think we see Ogun's face. I think he's still wearing the devil mask. I can't remember if we saw it or not in this issue, but yeah. But he tries to control her mind again, and this time Kitty's able to resist because of all the training that she got from Wolverine. So, but still, it's not enough. Ogun is still able to overwhelm her, and before he's able to do that, we see a really pretty dope splash page of Wolverine showing up to kind of save the day. So last issue here should be an even bigger fight with Wolverine showing up to finish the job. So we'll see how that goes. But until next time, this was Kitty Pryde and Wolverine number 5. So one more issue to go for this miniseries. Pryde and Wolverine number 6. So this is the final battle between Ogun and Wolverine. At first, Wolverine's kind of getting pwned, I guess, by Ogun, which is surprising because obviously we know what Wolverine's capable of doing. Kitty kind of retreats and then comes back to the fight, I think at one point walking on air to kind of get over to the building to help out. And Ogun is overwhelmed by Wolverine, who basically goes like full savage mode on Ogun. And we get some really interesting art here going on with Wolverine, kind of like some weird eyes and, sharp teeth and just like more animal like than usual, I guess, for Wolverine, which is interesting to see. And he's able to overwhelm and defeat Ogun by basically beating him into a pulp and then like ripping his mask off with the claws, which at first when I saw this, I'm like, oh god, he just stuck his claws through Ogun's head and he killed him. But that's not the case. This was all on purpose. Wolverine was trying to teach Kitty a lesson. So basically, he goes over there and says, Kitty, Ogun's defeated. Go ahead and kill him. And Kitty's like, I'm not gonna do that. And Wolverine's like, that's the right answer. So good for her. And as they're walking away, Ogun tries to sneak attack both of our heroes, which causes Kitty to phase, and Wolverine, in a defensive measure, sticks his claws through Kitty's phase body and kills Ogun. And they pretty much walk away from his dead body on top of this building. So it's kind of sad to see, but what are you going to do? So at the end of this issue, we pretty much get a return to status quo for a lot of our characters. Kitty is reunited with her father. Wolverine is reunited with Mariko and her daughter, I believe, Amiko. I think that's her name. So overall, I thought this was a really great conclusion to the series. I think it was obviously something I think everyone probably could have saw coming, but I feel like the payoff is nice. The character growth with Kitty in this miniseries as a whole, I think, is just amazing. I think they did a really good job, developing her character. And the fact that she got a solo series with Wolverine, I think, says a lot about what she meant to the X-Men at that time. So, but yeah, I enjoyed the series as a whole. I enjoyed it as well. So that has been Kitty Pryde and Wolverine number 6, guys.